Hey guys, it's Super here. So today we have 7 Sages of Liuli and we have difficulty 7 for the Resonance boss. So if you've been watching my past videos, you should know this is the one I was quite looking forward to because I was curious to see the change in damage from level 6 to level 7. And we have most of the strong players who have attacked already, and when we were at difficulty level 6, the highest damage was at the 80 billion range, and amongst these 3 players, I think the lowest was maybe like 70 billion. But you can see here that everyone's damage has gone down really significantly. The highest is 15.26, and Frido, who I think was the highest previously at 80 billion, is now only at 11.5. So let's take a look at what the boss does and let's attempt it for ourselves as well. But before we do that, let me just do a quick look and confirm and hopefully try to remember what team we're supposed to use. I think this is the same team that we were using previously, yeah. So let's see what the boss does. So long slash deals 120% attack damage to all enemies and self gains 3 layers of dragon scale, which increases his tenacity and mastery res by 84%. This is quite a strange random number, I'm not sure if it has any significance, but anyway, a layer will be removed when taking resonance damage, so this is pretty easy. Each type of resonance damage can only remove 1 layer, so we must do 3 different types of resonance damage, and then deal 2 stages of 150% attack damage each to all enemies. If no counter attack is taken before the turn ends, Self additionally gains 4 layers of powerful might. Okay? Zhongming gains 3 extra layers of powerful might if there are 2 or fewer enemies under the stealth status. Okay? If there are fewer than 5 enemies with the resonance tag, okay, this is just the default passive for 7 Sages bosses. And this one as well, I believe there's 1 extra stuff here, so let's see. Each time he takes spectral damage, okay, whatever. And if he has Cold 2, okay, so only if we kill the boss, then will this come into play. So we need ideally up to 3 types of resonance damage, and this team actually only has 1, which is direct damage. I don't believe that Nikolith over here does bleed resonance damage, he just does regular bleed damage. And so, since we did see that the top teams people are using still remains to be this team and not other resonance characters which do different resonance damage types, my guess is that we simply choose to ignore this mechanic over here, which is pretty interesting because tenacity is a stat which I believe will affect our damage as well. You can just take a quick look. Tenacity reduces crit damage taken, and crit damage goes a long way when it comes to the damage our characters do. And then additionally there's this one where if no counter attack is taken, then he gains extra layers of powerful might, which means the fight will end a lot faster than we would like it to. And we can see over here, if we sort by counter attack, I guess only Apsara has it, and I think we do have to deal it multiple times, or no, actually only once. So yeah, let's just see how this goes. One thing I do need to do before we start this fight is to change out my equipment on the Unicorn pet. This will give my Marie extra attack, which will be very useful for this boss. Alright, so let's get into it, and once again, let's just start with a skip and see roughly what damage we're at. So we're actually really low in damage, and this makes me wonder what these players are doing to get much higher damage than what we've gotten from the skip. So let's do it manually. And like I mentioned, I don't believe there's anything that special about this boss besides dealing multiple layers of resonance damage which we are choosing to ignore, and then we do need to do counter attack over here. And there's also this stealth thing, and I don't believe any of our characters can actually gain stealth, so I'm a little confused as to what is contributing or why our team is dying so quickly. But anyway, so let's start off with just all our regular abilities. I'm actually going to start off with Marie's basic attack because we don't have the reappearance buff yet. And then let's use the Arcane Gem, which will boost my Marie's attack. So the boss actually killed one of our characters, and that was with his basic attack. He killed our Jocelyn, and I guess he just does enough damage to kill our Jocelyn. We did have Nicholas Shelter of Faith buff, so it is kind of surprising that our characters are dying here. And I think this explains why we're dealing so little damage. My characters are just dying instantly, so I'm not sure what that's about. I mean, I'm using the same lineup as all of them. And I'm sure that if they're dealing this amount of damage, their characters are not dying the same way mine are. So I'm really confused. Let's just sub in Griffin Pet for a bit, and this will give us the immortality, which may be slightly more useful. I should have actually added the equipment for this Spirit Beast pet, but it's fine, let's just do it as is for now. So basic attack with Marie once again. So this, the Nicholas Shutter of Faith did allow our characters to survive at 2/3 health when he did his attack over there. And each of the characters have one more layer of Shutter of Faith, which should allow us to survive at least one more hit. But just now we did see that when our characters use their attacks, they just were suddenly randomly taking insane amounts of damage. Once again, I'm still not sure what that was about. Okay, but somehow this time we are having a bit more success, and I don't believe our Griffin's immortality has triggered yet either. So, either it's just some luck related thing which killed our team the first time, or Griffin, even though it shouldn't really be helping in any way, is letting our team survive. So yeah, I'm really confused about what was causing that. Hopefully we can figure it out before the fight ends. After this fight, if it goes well, I'll go back to Unicorn Pet and see if we're able to recreate what happened. So of course having Jocelyn here is great for the speed up too, and basically all the buffs that she gives to enable our main damage dealer, which is Marie, to just deal huge chunks of damage. So let's use the Resonance of Apsara. And we do have Anza's damage record active right now. So this should be some good chunks of damage that we're doing. Not just Apsara's damage record, but Anza's too, and then double hit from Marie all adds up, which makes the Resonance team really, really strong. So once again, survivability is going fine for now. We are out of okay, we do have one layer of Shutter of Faith buff on our characters still, which is good. So we should be able to survive at least one more hit from Zhongming over here, and based on how the fight is going, it seems we are able to keep our Shelter of Faith buff with 100% uptime. So his next attack should trigger the Shelter of Faith, and then we can redeploy it with Nikolith on that same turn right after. So yeah, this is going a lot better than normal. You can see that the boss at turn 5 has 11 stacks of this buff, which when at 20 stacks will wipe our team. And that's because, you know, we're not running over here. We're not doing this stealth thing, so he's gaining more layers of powerful might. For counter attack, I think our Apsara is dealing with that, thankfully. So normally the boss should only gain 1 stack of this for each of his turn, but because of us not doing any stealth status related effects, he is gaining more than normal. That being said, I don't really have any character in mind I can think of right now which would be a good fit and give our team stealth. I mean, there's a trade-off to be made, right? You can run a no stealth team, but a team which really massively supports your team's damage, like what we're doing here. Or if there is, you could use a character which grants stealth, and that will come at the expense of your damage but let you survive for more turns. So it really comes down to the fact that whether taking more turns is enough to offset the less damage per turn that you deal, and based on what other people are using, that doesn't seem to be the case. So the boss is going to take a turn without any Shelter of Faith buff on our characters. 3 of our characters don't have it, so I think this is where Griffin becomes useful. And that should allow us to survive the hit from the boss. Boss is at 15 stacks, so very soon he's going to be able to wipe us. If he gets 5 stacks next turn, I think he can wipe us on the spot. So only 16 for now. You can see Griffin kept us alive here. And we do get our Shelter of Faith buff back up this turn as well, which is good. But the issue is we don't have any healing on our team, so we do need to stay above the health threshold for this Shelter of Faith buff to even apply, which you can see we actually lost it on our characters which were below the required health. But I think it shouldn't matter too much because next turn the boss I think will wipe us anyway. So the damage compared to other players which we saw just now who are dealing like the 10 to 12 billion range, the fact that we're doing a lot less damage doesn't surprise me because those players are way stronger. They have max Marie echoes, exclusive 5 Marie and so on, better builds and higher sanctuary as well. So even when we were doing level 6, I was doing maybe 30 billion damage or so, and they were doing 80 billion, so about double of what I'm doing. And this isn't too far off, right? We are gonna do by the end maybe 4.5 billion damage, and twice of that is 9 billion. So yeah, about 50% is pretty expected, and what I would say is so I would say that this is like a similar performance to difficulty 6. So this fight I would imagine ends next turn when he uses a special 2 skill, and actually because of Shelter of Faith buff which triggered, it disabled his ability to use this skill. So if you don't know, Griffin at exclusive 5 or 5 stars rather, you can see over here that when an ally takes fatal damage, first of all we get the immortality, and the skill proactively cast by the boss, which in that case was the skill 2, has a 100% chance to be ineffective. So that actually bought us a little bit of time to stay alive just a little bit more, and that's just enough for us to get this additional Marie Special 4 out, which is really, really great. So this, once again, this team's damage would have been just a slightly more if we swapped out the equipment on our Griffin. But I'm pretty satisfied with our damage anyway at this stage. And yeah, the Divine Griffin was actually really, really useful. Not just to keep our team alive as you can see, but to disable his skills, which gave us at least 1 or 2 additional turns, I'm sure, throughout this entire fight. So yeah, boss hit 20 stacks and now wipes our team, and we did 6 billion damage, which I'm actually very happy with. So this puts us at 7th. I think this is a pretty good performance comparing to these other players. They are all much stronger than me. You can see the exclusive 5 Apsaras and higher than exclusive 3 on their other characters, right? This guy's exclusive 5 Aunts, exclusive 5 Apsara once again, and then, you know, at the top level it's just max exclusive 5s or on other characters. And yeah, at the top level it seems everyone's using Unicorn Pet. I guess they have better builds and better survivability, but for weaker ones like me, I am using Divine Griffin Pet, which seems to be the best performance. In fact, I do seem to be outperforming some of these other players who are normally stronger than me. A lot of these guys are. DSA Evolution's a strong one. This S114 guy is also normally stronger than me in terms of PvP at least. So yeah, we are beating a lot of these players in this area. So once again, let's just do one final test, and let's just see if that unicorn, or us dying so quickly with the unicorn pet, was a fluke. So let's do one skip and one manual battle. And yeah, so still not a fluke. I really don't understand what is causing us to die, because, oops, so hey, I shouldn't be using Lydia here, maybe that was part of the problem. And we have one last attempt, so we do need to make sure that we do this one manual. So let's use this preset, which is correct, and then let's do the fight manually and see if we die as quickly as we did the first attempt that we tried with the unicorn pet. So if you know what caused me to die that quickly in our first attempt, do let me know in the comments, because I really am quite clueless as to how that happened, and I really would like to know what can be done to avoid that. So we'll see if, like, yeah, once again, our Jocelyn just dies, and if the same thing happens this time, our aunt is going to die as well. Yeah, so they just randomly take, like, that was like 900,000 damage. I don't even know where that's from. It seems to bypass like our Nicolith shield and everything. It's almost like a damage record, right? But as far as I can tell, the boss doesn't have anything like that. So I really don't understand what's causing that. And Unicorn Pet actually is supposed to give my team more survivability compared to Divine Griffin. So it makes even less sense that Divine Griffin is actually giving us better success. So I'm not sure why we are stuck at this loading screen now, but anyway, that was all I wanted to cover for the video anyway. I think we had a pretty good run with the Divine Griffin pet with about almost 6 billion damage, and I think that's a good performance for my skill level, especially relative to the other players in my division. So that's all we have for today, and I'll see you guys next time.